G'day guys. Today I want to talk to you guys about the future of cars and just sort of talk through what's going to be happening, especially in this day and age of EVs and stuff like that. I want to also talk about the fact that I went to the Thailand Auto Expo. It's a pretty big expo here in Thailand where basically all the cars, except for, I didn't really see any Lambos or Ferraris. But yeah, it was pretty much packed with, Chinese EVs. They might as well have just called it their Chinese EV show, but there was obviously Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, Audi, Toyota, Nissan. I think even Hyundai and Kia may have been there, but to be honest with you, in Thailand, they don't really sell that many Hyundais or Kias. I really do not see them like I do in Australia. But I just wanted to start off by saying, if you have been tuning in the channel, thank you so much. Please like and subscribe if this content is exciting to you. Basically on this channel, I just talk about stuff where, a bit of frugality, housing crisis in Australia, what it means to be sort of a part of the lost generation here in Australia. And yeah, a bit of traveling as I'm in Thailand currently for, a couple more weeks thereabouts, and then back to Perth in Western Australia. So yeah, anyway, we'll get into the video. So the first thing I want to say is, wow, EVs. In particular, a brand called Neta, N-E-T-A. That's how you spell it, Neta. They are pretty amazing piece of kit. One vehicle in particular, the Neta X, that vehicle is phenomenal. It's got, obviously it's a SUV sort of shape. It's got all the mod cons. It's got like the Tesla screen, everything like that. It's well appointed. It's got pretty much everything you'd need in a car. The Tesla sort of screen is basically your control center. So you've got all your controls in that vehicle. So there's actually no physical buttons. There's only physical buttons, I think, for this sunroof, where the sort of like little lights are for the interior. And overall, it's a pretty solid car. And I'll get to that later in comparison with the German equivalents of, BMW, Mercedes, etc. and Porsche. But yeah, I was talking to a guy there. He was Chinese, and he was basically, I asked him a question, which has been pretty much in everyone's mind since Trump got elected. I said, are you worried about, for China, the implications of possible tariffs and how that would implicate the Chinese EV market? And basically he said to me that, China has things in place. They're going to be locating a couple of, factories where they can make the product. That would be many in Thailand. Another one they've been floating the idea as well recently, especially with BYD, is to have a factory in Mexico as well, just so they can potentially bypass obviously those tariffs and have it off, out of the country sort of made. But he did say that it's not going to basically take away from, the fact that whatever they're trying to make, they can't actually enter America. And I said to him about obviously GM losing $1 billion profit this year, as the Chinese just aren't buying any General Motors products anymore. A lot of them back in the day would be buying a lot of Cadillac sort of cars, and other sort of, cars of that nature, Lincolns and all that sort of stuff as well, which is not a GM product, but they do like the Lincolns, which are like a sort of upmarket Ford Navigator sort of thing, or Escape, I should say. So yeah, there was just things like that he was talking about, but he said, look, yeah, they are pretty, they are worried about it because that could really stuff things up for them. A lot of their manufacturing now in China is going into EVs, and it's seen a decrease in lithium exports from Australia to China because China aren't buying as much lithium. I think they're sort of reaching a sort of point now where they don't want to overstretch. They don't want to overstretch what they're trying to do, because they don't want to overcapitalize. Another example of that would be in China with their housing market. They bought a lot of iron ore and steel from Australia, and now that is sort of slowing down because they've overcapitalized. They've built too many homes, and therefore the value of them have come down because there's an oversupply sort of sort of thing. So whereas in Australia there's an undersupply, therefore the demand is higher because there's not enough houses being built to surplus the net immigration, which is running red hot, just like Canada and the UK. But yeah, look, that was a really interesting discussion with him, because I think as a whole, the Chinese product, it's pretty good. Like, I'd say it's better than Tesla, and the seats were comfortable, everything had a place, everything seemed pretty well bolted together. I'm not a fan of Teslas at all. And, when you see the Tesla Model 3 or Model Y or all that sort of stuff, I can see why in Australia I've seen a fair few. I've seen only a couple here and there, and here in Thailand, I see a lot more BYD, Netta equivalents of Tesla, but very much so. They love in Thailand here their D-Max utes. They love their Hilux utes. What else do they like? They love the Alphard, which is basically a people mover, but really luxurious, done up. They love Toyota commuters, which are like sort of a high-ace van with about 8 seats. They're thereabouts 10 seats, perhaps. So they do like that. Good cars that have good air cons, because you need it in Thailand. It's really hot. But the other thing I noticed whilst being there in the space of EVs is that they do have just so many sort of Chinese models. Like, I can't remember them off the top of my head because I'm still trying to learn them for what they are. But there is just an incessant amount of EVs. But the thing was, there wasn't that many people looking at them. So when I was going around, there was a lot of people there because I was on a weekend. I think it was on a Saturday, and there was that many people around having a look at the cars. But I noticed I had a common trend that there wasn't actually that many people having a look at the EV cars compared to, say, just your standard Honda or your standard Toyota, or Isuzu dealer with the D-Max. I just couldn't believe it. So yeah, that was an interesting factor. Fun fact: they sold more, a lot more Toyotas and Hondas than they did any other brand. So. And that's pretty astonishing to me. It just shows that people aren't believing in the direction of EV, and that's also stemming from even brands. Just a bit off topic with the cars, they're even trying to get electric scooters or motorbikes for the tires, because tires predominantly still do use, majority of them still have at least a scooter within their family that they can go to the shops, whatever, or just go for a little quick spin around the block, get what they need, and then come home. But there's still a lot of catch up to be done, and for Thailand to be that next EV country, like to really lead EVs, because a lot of EVs from China will be built here in Thailand. So they're gonna really want to be pushing it. And I do believe, this is no joke, I do believe that Thailand has the best infrastructure probably in the world right now. It'd be right up there with America, or even surpassed America, because every petrol station that I've been to, whether it be a PTT, which is a petrol station here in Thailand, or one of the other ones, which I can't remember off the top of my head, they all at least have chargers there for an EV. And I do see every now and again at least an EV parked up there, getting some charging done as well. So yeah, and look, Thailand have basically said, we want to be the EV powerhouse, in terms of we want to be pushing the change for a lot of people to be, feeling confident to jump into an EV, who are sick of, I guess, just the mundane sort of Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, whatever. They want something a little bit more special, or something a little bit more unique. That is an option there. So after I was done at the Netta sort of space, I then moved on to, believe it or not, Maserati. And Maserati was an interesting one, because if you do or don't know, Maserati is owned by Stellantis. Now, Stellantis are in deep, deep water. Just recently, I think maybe 4 days ago, they had their CEO resign. So he copped a lot of heat from the workers union because he was underpaying or not paying his staff or employees enough. There was workers strikes there and thereabouts, and then Jeep. So in addition to that, the outgoing CEO basically has ruined Jeep. He's put their quality lower and jacked their prices up, and people are not in America not buying the Jeep products anymore. You've got to remember it's a Fiat, Chrysler, and Alfa Romeo group, and so with all the products, electronic products like the head units, everything like that, the gauges, the buttons on the doors, every little tactile button you can think of, Chrysler has it, Jeep has it, Alfa Romeo has it, and Maserati have it. And that is the problem that I saw with the Maserati. I saw the Grecale, which is a smaller sort of SUV sort of car. It's not as small as a Porsche Macan. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit longer, and a little bit wider. And I was, impressed by the interior. It looks way better than the Levante, which is the bigger SUV of the Grecale. So I think in that aspect, they've done pretty well. But this was also the top model. And that was, it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. It was at least $400,000 Australian. So whatever that is converted to Thai baht. It was a lot of money. And in Australia, I can get it for half the price. So that's how inflated luxury car market is in Thailand. I think it's 300% tax on top of what you pay as well, just because it's just unbelievable how much you have to pay to even get a Ferrari, Lamborghini, Maserati, even a Mercedes as well. It's ridiculous. So after seeing the Grecale, I had a look at the Gran Turismo. Now all these Maseratis, they're not powered by the V8 4.7 litre Ferrari engine anymore. They're made by a 6-cylinder, 3-litre twin turbo engine, and that's what's in the Gran Turismo at the moment. It's a V6. Same with the Grecale. Same with the Levante. Yeah, I mean, what more? It's disappointing. They sound good. They do sound good. They definitely do sound pretty good for a 6-cylinder. Probably even better than, I want to say, than the new CLE 53, which I also saw, which I'll get to in a second. But yeah, the Maserati brand as a whole, especially with where Stellantis is at, with their CEO, with the lack of direction, lack of innovation, lack of, I guess, they just don't know where they're going as a brand. And they really have the potential, or had the potential before Stellantis bought them and they've gone through this hoops and all that sort of stuff unnecessarily. They had the potential of being a Porsche. They literally did. And to challenge Porsche, they need a competitor to the Boxster. They need a competitor to the Macan as well. Like, they really need to be competing with that Macan and take market share from them. The Grecale interior does look good. It's the other ones, the Gran Turismo S, the Levante, which just, you jump in it and it feels like a Jeep. It feels like a Chrysler. It feels like an Alfa, which, not that I'm really big on Alphas, I've sat in an Alfa, but I've been told they're very similar. They've got the same Uconnect system, the dash, really strange gear lever to get it from park to reverse. I go to drive, like I go into drive, it's that stupid, like I can't even get it right. So they don't actually have a physical button for park like a BMW does. Now remember, the BMW has the ZF 8-speed, the same as the Maserati, Levante. The great gearbox, probably the best gearbox you can get. Don't get PDK, don't get any VW product with DSG, they're absolute crap. The ZF 8-speed is the best gearbox you can get in all the German cars and Italian cars as well. So I definitely think that's a big tick. However, I do love the styling of the Maserati. I do love the attention that it looks like it gets all the time with the Triton badge. And a lot of people were having a look. Again, it's probably not the car you want for Thailand with all the potholes and bumps and stuff like that and the dust around, but it's an amazing car. Then from Maserati, I moved on to the Mercedes-Benz lineup. Now, the Mercedes-Benz lineup, I used to sell Mercedes-Benz, so I'm very familiar with the product. I'm very familiar with their one price sort of setup that they're going on, similar to Louis Vuitton, where you come in, you pay the price that they're asking, there's no negotiation, and there's no packages. You can't upgrade a GLC 300 with an AMG package. It all comes with an AMG package. I think the only option you do get before the cars comes to you is what seat colors you want. Now they've got red, they've got a tan, and they've got a white color as well as a black. So four options for the seat covers, and that is it. So it's become basically just mass-produced products. Gone are the days of Mercedes where you could really customize it to your liking and have what you're wanting the car to have. That's gone. So I was really disappointed with the product. In my year of selling for Mercedes, I definitely noticed that the Mercedes interior was so plasticky, so gimmicky with that big tablet screen, trying to mimic the Tesla setup. They are just, they don't wear correctly. Like the steering wheel, we had a traded in C200. It came in, it was a 2021, it was only a year old at that time. And it had 20,000 Ks on it, and the steering wheel was just all worn already, and it just showed to me that the quality there is just not there. It's just not. There was sensor issues in the back from the reverse sensors. It was just, you could just tell it just wasn't right. It just wasn't right. There was a clicking every time I did a full turn. At speed, it wasn't when I was at a standstill trying to turn. It was when I was actually going around a roundabout trying to get the car to turn fully. I could hear a click in the steering column. So there was just small things like that. There was creaking in the dash. It's got that black shiny piano black sort of black plastic where the center console comes in. It's just not conducive to keeping a car clean. You can see dust everywhere. Like, you might clean the car and it'll be like a day. This is, if you don't even have pets in the car, it will just come up with dust, with life's filth everywhere. It's just sad to see. I want to love the Mercedes brand because I worked there and I enjoyed my time there, but I can't suggest my parents, I can't suggest anyone close to me who may have the money to go and splurge on a nice German car. I can't recommend it to them. I wouldn't buy one myself, so why would I recommend it to them? So I just definitely see, my personal opinion, that if you were to get a GLC, get an X3, or if you really like the coupe shape, get the X4. I just think that they're well put together. Again, they've got the great ZF 8-speed transmission, the B48 and the B58. The B48 is the 2-litre turbo, which just has a little bit less power than the B58, but same 2-litre turbo engine, just with different amounts of power. Great units. You cannot go wrong with them. Obviously, I would maintain it every, 8,000 Ks to do the oil on those things. I wouldn't follow the BMW's scheduled maintenance schedule. It's too long. You'd have to do it every 8,000 Ks for an oil service, and you're good as gold. So I would highly recommend you guys look at the BMW. I know not everyone's a fan of the badge. Not everyone's a fan of saying I've got a BMW. And there's a bit of a stigma with BMW drivers that don't use indicators. I get that. But at the end of the day, it is a more solid product and a lot nicer to drive. I guarantee it, if you look after it, with the maintenance scheduled every 8,000 Ks with oil. So yeah, I wasn't really sold. So I looked at the GLC, and then I looked at the CLE. I just don't like it. The CLE doesn't look any different to, like, I was expecting it to be a bit bigger than a C and a little bit smaller than an E. It may be, but it just didn't feel like it. And I jumped in there and it just didn't feel premium, felt plasticky. A Toyota, I went to Toyota as well after that, and a Toyota and a Lexus product feels way more premium inside, and that's actually really sad to say, unfortunately for the Mercedes. So I wouldn't waste your time on a Mercedes. I just wouldn't. They're definitely cost cutting hard, that brand, big time, because their EV venture flunked big time. Nobody looked at the EQS, nobody looked at the EQE. They were just a waste of time and have cost Mercedes dearly. Then I moved on to Porsche. Porsche was the same. It's just piano black everywhere. Very simple, boring black layout and design, especially in the Cayenne and even in the Macan. I really, really don't see the big deal about Porsche. Like, I just literally, I don't even, like, I'm a I'm really against VW products. I'm really against Porsche products and Audi products. They're just not reliable, and I couldn't recommend it to my best mate or my family. I certainly wouldn't buy a VW associated group product. Again, the VW brand is in turmoil at the moment. A lot of workers, about 10,000 of them, were offloaded or basically gotten rid of in Germany. So there's a lot to get through there, and to see where the VW brand goes in the future, it's again unknown. Similar to that of Nissan, didn't see anyone looking at the Nissan products at the Thailand Expo Motor Show. No one's interested in Nissan products. Nothing exciting anymore. No 370Z, no GTR, no other Nissan Juke. No, they got the Pathfinder there that I saw. They didn't even have the Nissan Ute because of their warranty claim work on those vehicles is 40%. It's such a high warranty claim sort of vehicle, the MP300. So yeah, look again, Nissan, don't know how long they've got as well. Went to Honda. Yeah, Honda was very busy. As I said, Toyota and Honda were the most, probably the busiest places you could be at the motor show. So many people signing up to buy a car there. It was fanatic, and for the Honda sort of people, they love the HR-V. That is their favorite car here in Thailand. HR-V would be probably number one, and then Toyota would be Corolla Cross. I'd say Corolla Cross was very popular in the Hilux as well. So it's a shame Honda don't have a Ute sort of setup. I know they've got something called the Ridgeline in Canada and in America that uses the 3.5 liter V6. But yeah, look, it's amazing. I couldn't believe it. And then I went to BMW. As I said, I've suggested you guys get a BMW. Looked at their product. And yeah, it looks fantastic. BMW, they are getting a little bit on the plasticky side as well, but not as much as Mercedes. Everything feels solid in the dash. You press down on it, nothing creaks. Steering wheels beautifully, just better quality leather used in a BMW as well. Definitely noticed that. And yeah, a lot of people at BMW. So in Thailand, especially, I've seen a lot of 3 Series. I've seen a lot of X3s. I don't see many X5s, X7s. I think they're just too big here in Thailand for families. But yeah, a lot of X3s. Sometimes I see an X4, but the majority of them are X3s and 3 Series that I see here in Thailand, and sometimes an X1. The new redesigned X1 looks fantastic with the grille. Again, styling is, not everyone likes the grille of a BMW. I totally understand that, but from a mechanically sort of specified design point of view, the BMW product will just run better, will give you less grief than a Mercedes product in the long term. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the expo. They did have some other things where they had some stores where they outfit these vans, these Toyota commuters. Basically, they strip out the interior and they put some big VIP seats in there and big TVs and stuff like that for families to buy and retrofit out so that they can take their whole family out in comfortable style, head up north to Chiang Mai, which is a 10-hour drive, and that I've done before. You definitely need one of these commuter vans. They've got so much more space, way more comfortable, and the diesel variants obviously get there on 1 tank of fuel, so there's no need to stop and refuel. Obviously, if you get an electric car, you'd be stopping a fair bit just to get up there. Probably, I think you'd have to stop once to charge up, and then wait 3 or 2 hours just to get a full charge, depending on if another person's not there charging already. But yeah, very popular. A lot of people were looking at that as well. But overall, Toyota and Honda here in Thailand, Thailand has been reported as saying they want to be the next, they want to be the main hub for EVs, basically globally. But the Chinese, if they can't import into the US, there's 2 places where they're going to send them. 1, Southeast Asia, Thailand. 2, Australia. And I don't think they're going to sell that many in Australia because the infrastructure is not there, certainly not like Thailand. And I don't think people, like the Thais, they still prefer the Toyota Honda setups. They don't want EVs. Even though they look cool, they're all got the shiny gizmos. I think they're going to follow Australia and basically say no to the Chinese EVs. But what do you guys reckon? Comment down below. Do you like EVs? Do you have an EV? Do Do you drive a Toyota or a Honda? What's your stance on it? Do you think Australia will adopt what Thailand's doing? Do you think I'm on the right track? Do you have any questions for me and what I saw? Please leave it down below in the comment. Like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.